Hello and welcome to S24 Rundown. I am Hadiza Galadima and here is our news in brief. We begin in the political arena where the battle lines for the 2027 presidential elections are already being drawn. In a monumental realignment, former presidential candidate Peter Obi and the leader of the Kwankwasiya movement, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, have formally collapsed their political structures into the Nigerian Democratic Congress (NDC). The major move was finalized during a high-profile closed-door meeting at the Abuja residence of former Bayelsa State Governor Saraki Dixon, where both political heavyweights were officially issued their new party membership cards. Consequently, this mega merger officially establishes the NDC as the primary third force coalition aiming to challenge the ruling party. During the formal reception, Kwankwaso urged progressive Nigerians to mobilize quickly, while Peter Obi pointed to their combined governance track record in Anambra and Kano as the blueprint needed to revive the nation's economic and human capital. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed a definitive date to rule on whether former President Goodluck Jonathan can constitutionally contest the 2027 presidency. Justice Peter Lifu announced yesterday that judgment will be delivered on Tuesday, May 26th. The suit filed by an Abuja-based lawyer argues that Jonathan has already exhausted his constitutional limit of 2 terms after completing the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's tenure and serving a full term from 2011 to 2015. However, Jonathan's legal team and Attorney General of the Federation have hit back aggressively, asking the court to dismiss the case entirely. To ensure there are no further delays, the judge slammed a 1 million naira fine on the plaintiff for failing to serve documents diligently, ordering an immediate service of all pending court papers. Now turning to critical security update, widespread anger and deep grief have gripped the academic community in Oyo State, following confirmation that one of the 7 teachers adopted last Friday by bandits in the Ori-Ire local government area has been brutally murdered. In response to the horrific killing, outraged teachers across Ogbomosho have completely shut down classrooms today, staging peaceful protests to demand immediate protection for rural schools. Concurrently, state security forces, including the military and Amatekun corps, have aggressively ramped up rescue operations to save the remaining educators and missing school children. The rescue mission encountered dangerous hurdles when tactical teams hit improvised explosive devices planted by the fleeing bandits in the forest. Meanwhile, local investigations have yielded swift results, with 6 local suspects arrested under suspicion of acting as informants for the terrorists. Still on security, the Nigerian police force has dealt a massive blow to transnational organized crime right here on the borders of the Federal Capital Territory. Operatives of the Intelligence Response Team dismantled a sophisticated human trafficking and fraudulent extortion syndicates, rescuing 30 foreign nationals, all identified as Malian citizens. The syndicate, allegedly led by a principal suspect named Abdul Ngaki, operated out of residential hideouts in Mararaba and Karu in Nasarawa states. According to Force Public Relations Officer, DCP, Anthony Okon Placid, the network lured vulnerable West African youths with false promises of jobs in Nigeria and travel opportunities to Europe. Furthermore, police revealed that victims who could not pay exorbitant processing fees were forced into stage kidnapping schemes where they were made to call relatives back home to extort ransom payments. 13 suspects are now in police custody. And on the public health front, medical experts and the Academy of Medical Sciences Nigeria are demanding the immediate activation of emergency border surveillance systems across the country's travel hub. This urgent advisory follows official alerts from the Africa Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization regarding a fresh, rapidly spreading outbreak of the Ebola virus disease in the Democratic Republic of Congo and parts of Uganda. Given Nigeria's high regional mobility, health leaders are strongly urging the Federal Ministry of Health and the Nigeria Center for Disease Control to immediately deploy strict screening protocols, including mandatory temperature checks and exposure history assessments at all international airports and land borders to prevent any cross-border transmission. And finally, on the global scene, a horrific act of violence has shocked the city of San Diego, California, leaving 5 people dead in what authorities are treating as a suspected hate crime. 2 teenage gunmen opened fire inside a local Islamic center during morning prayers, killing 3 worshippers before being neutralized by arriving law enforcement officers. San Diego police officials have confirmed that both attackers are dead and have launched a comprehensive federal investigation alongside the FBI. Law enforcement has explicitly stated that the mass shooting is being investigated under hate crime protocols until evidence proves otherwise, prompting civil rights groups across the United States to demand increased security architecture around religious sanctuaries. Now moving on to business news with Shukra Oniye. Hello, Shukra.
Thank you, Hadiza, and welcome to Business News. I am Oniye Shukra. We begin in Nigeria, where attention is focused on the Central Bank of Nigeria as the Apex Bank began its 305th Monetary Policy Committee meeting amid continued inflation pressures. The Monetary Policy Committee, or MPC, is responsible for setting Nigeria's interest rates and shaping key monetary policies that influence inflation, borrowing, investment, and overall economic stability. At the center of discussion is Nigeria's ongoing inflation challenge. Despite policy efforts, many Nigerians continue to face rising food prices, transportation costs, and increasing cost of living. Because of this, financial analysts expect the central bank to maintain its current interest rate in an effort to control inflation and support stability in the foreign exchange market. However, experts caution that sustained high interest could also make borrowing more expensive for businesses and households, potentially slowing economic activity. While monetary policy remain in focus, the development in Nigerian energy sector are also drawing attention. Still in Nigeria, Dangote Refinery has reduced the price of aviation fuel, also known as Jet A1, from 1,750 naira to 1,650 naira per litre. The move is expected to ease pressure on airline operators who have faced rising fuel costs, foreign exchange challenges, and high operating expenses. Industry analysts say the price cutout could gradually support more stable fares if sustained over time, while also strengthening confidence in local refining capacity. And across the continent, economic pressures are also building on as global oil prices remain volatile amid ongoing international tension. Several African economies that depend heavily on fuel imports are now facing increased pressure from rising transportation and energy costs. Analysts warn this could add to inflationary pressure across the continent, although oil-producing countries may benefit temporarily from stronger export earnings. And on the global stage, financial markets remain cautious as investors monitor inflation risk and energy price instability linked to geopolitical tension in the Middle East. Markets across Europe, Asia, and United States reacted cautiously today amid fears that prolonged energy disruptions could trigger renewed global inflation. As a result, central banks worldwide may delay interest rates cutout as they continue to balance inflation control with economic growth. The developments are expected to shape discussions at ongoing international finance meeting this week. And that's your business update for today. We'll be joining Hadiza Galadima and Abubakar Turaiki on Newspaper Review. Stay with us.
Our newspaper review segment with Abubakar Turaki, where we get to discuss about the national issues on our front pages. Abubakar, how are you?
I'm fine, Hadiza.
How are you doing?
I'm okay, Hadiza.
Are you sure?
Very sure.
You know, I will ask you every time you sit on this seat. Are you sure today you are very calm?
I'm actually okay. And, with the way the primaries are going, something will baffle you, something will excite you, and something will even make you smile.
So let's just even say whatever is going to do. Let's not even just jump into it. Let's get right straight into our first headline, which is coming from the Daily Trust. And this one says, Nigeria bleeds. I just want us to talk about this briefly. I don't want us to waste our time on this. Nigeria bleeds as politics takes center stage. So Nigeria is like we're in a state whereby we're grappled with insecurity, economic hardship, and rising cost of social tension. Concerns are now growing that political calculations ahead of the future elections is actually what is taking center stage and are ignoring what needs to really be addressed. With the insecurity and inflations and hard life biting Nigerians, typical Nigerians right now, would this social or can this social political campaigns and alignment be taking the priority? They like taking the center stage right now, and why at this time?
Hadiza, thank you so much. For the past 1 month, like the political season has begun and is yet to be fully and officially kickstart. And they have been there trying to conduct their own party primaries, while the other part of the country is bleeding, is under insurgency, attack all over. And recently, the security situation have tilted toward adoption of school children, which, according to statistics and even UNESCO, the level of people that are not going to school, out of school children in the northern part of the country is high. We have seen recently what happened at Oyo. Students were adopted early in the morning, and later on, subsequently on Monday, the teacher, some videos were sent online, and we saw how the teacher was beheaded. And this is the moment that the country needed our leaders' attention, but they have been there busy trying to anoint their own candidate, to do what is not even necessarily expected from them, because they even swore with the Quran and even the Bible to protect their life, the properties of citizens. But why are we having it different in this critical moment that the country needs urgent attention, that all hands must be on deck? Tell me a single part of this country that is living in peace, 100%.
Well, as regards that, there is nowhere safe in the country. I will even say there is nowhere safe in the world. But I think Nigeria is just an exception. And I feel our political leaders are people whereby we will sweet mouth you to get what we want. But at the end of the day, once we get into office, we forget what needs to be done. Like I said, we are not going to really waste our time on this story. So right below, still on Daily Trust, and in the front page, right below, this one says, 91 days later, El-Rufai still in detention. The continued detention of former Kaduna State Governor, which is Malam Nasir El-Rufai, he has been in detention for almost or over like 3 months now.
Yeah.
What does this say about our justice system? What does this say about human rights? What does it say about due process? Because as of yesterday, or the before yesterday, we heard he has been granted a bill of 100 million naira and is still in detention. What does this say about our justice system?
Well, the truth of the matter is, looking at the scenario that happened between Nasir El-Rufai and the Kaduna State government, Nasir El-Rufai is just like a political prisoner, because that is what Nigerians are calling. It has become clearly and it is evident that every successful admin, if the admin came into power, it set example to some prominent people.
If you're not in their good books.
Let's just go back to President Muhammadu Buhari era. When Muhammadu Buhari led, may his soul continue to rest in peace, came into board, former National Security Advisor, which is Sambo Dasuki, he was detained for a very long period of
a
time.
case like this.
Which court granted him bail, but they refused to do that. And now Muhammadu Buhari have passed. And now we are now in the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the president of Nigeria. And now Nasir El-Rufai is the political prisoner of this current administration. And the continuous detention of Nasir El-Rufai based on what legal practitioners are saying. Because yesterday we saw his wife, Asiya, was lamenting about why are they keeping him for a very long period of time, almost 3 months. And despite the fact that there have been a court verdict that he should have his own bail, and they outlined the futures. If Nasir El-Rufai was able to make this certain prescription, the bail is going to be granted to him. But behind the scene, his family are alleging the anti-graft agency of depriving him his basic right. Why will you detain him for more than 24 hours? Almost 3 months now.
3 months.
What is the reason behind that? Despite the fact that the court have granted him a bail on his way, still the Department of State Security, allegedly, they say that they still re-arrested him. On what basis? Is it just because Nasir El-Rufai defected from the ruling party to the opposition party? What is this thing is sending to signal to the opposition? Are we really trying to say that Nigeria is now operating a one-party dominance? Because there have been allegations. What this government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing, with due respect, is like it's trying to cripple the little democracy that Africa is enjoying. Because whenever there is the stability of democracy in Nigeria, is the stability of democracy in Africa. Is the stability of democracy in 54 states in Africa. So keeping Nasir El-Rufai for a very long period of time, it has violated his own human right, and the court have granted him a bail. And why is it that Nasir El-Rufai have been going from DSS to ICPC? Why all that? Does that have a political undertone behind that? These are the questions we need the government to come out and clarify. Even though I saw the ICPC yesterday made it clear to Nigerians that there is no any political reason behind detaining Nasir El-Rufai, but Nigerians are doubting. Because the mode of arrest of this current administration, they have been arresting people that decided to go their way. Because we have seen many prominent politicians, the likes of Yahya Bello, who have not defected from the ruling party. They have mighty corruption allegations. Why are they living freely in the street of Abuja? We have seen the likes of the former governor of Kano State, who have been alleging of siphoning some huge amount of money. He is living within the street of Abuja. Is it that Nasir El-Rufai defection that warrant him to such treatment?
Well, you said each administration comes with its own problems and issues. Now, which brings me to what is called selective or sentimental political punishment. Why is it that they go after a particular set of people while they still ignore and turn a blind eye to other people?
Well, there is no sincerity and political will in the fight against corruption in this country, because we have seen many people that recently, one of our sessions here in S24, we had a session with one analyst, which I remember the word categorically clear, said by Comrade Adam Ashimoli, who was the one-time national chairman of the ruling party, that if you defect to the ruling party, your previous sin have been forgiven, have been forgiven. This is to tell you, no matter what you loot, if you come back to the ruling party, there is what we call political asylum. As long as you continue to be with them, your sins have been forgiven.
Well, are you sure that is actually working? Because we've seen where they are bringing, like, telling you to defect into the ruling party, you have automatic tickets, and we can see what is actually happening in the APC right now. These are all political
calculations. Hadiza, let me give you 2 instances that we are not trying to blame this government of President Bola Tinubu. It has its own strength, and it also has its own weakness. Okay. Let us just try and analyze the weakness before analyzing the strength. Previously, just day before yesterday, I think on Sunday, if I stand to be corrected, Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar relinquished from active politics. Why? Because his wife was under the watch list of the anti-graft agency. So these are the kind of people that they think that him leaving the APC is a threat to them. We have seen the former boss of Professor Usman Yusuf. He is no longer with the ruling party. He was scrutinized by the anti-graft agency. We've seen a former Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngege. He's no longer with the ruling party, and now he has a court case. We have seen Nasiru El-Rufai. What are you telling us?
So there
is a freedom of opposition, and that is, if truly you are corrupt, you are guilty of what you have done, then let them go to court. If the court actually finalizes everything, go behind the bar and let them send him to the correctional center. But keeping this man for a very long period of time, I think they are depriving him of his basic right. And this to tell you, this is a corruption case. Rather, this is not a national offense. When I say national offense, maybe like cases like terrorism, or maybe like cases like maybe a national threat. Because you know, I'm not a legal practitioner, but I believe corruption cases, they may likely have a soft landing than national cases. When I mean national cases, maybe like in a situation whereby somebody is trying to truncate the government. These are the kind of cases that are different.
Okay,
I believe the government should try and do something before, because if the government is really afraid that continuous detention of El-Rufai as a public figure may likely change the 2027 outcome, well, this is a pure miscalculation.
Well, okay, we don't have much time, but I know we're going to continue this thing because it's Nigeria. We'll definitely continue this discussion sometime and next time. Okay, that's it on our newspaper review today. Up next is our S24 reports coming to you after the break.
The boy child is not left behind. That was the message as the Ergote Foundation marked the International Day of the Boy Child with a walk themed Flourish and Thrive, investing in boys for stronger families and communities. The founder said while attention is often placed on the girl child, boys also need guidance and support, especially as many are being drawn into cultism, banditry, and other social vices due to neglect.
We need to raise awareness about the fact that the day even exists in the first place to celebrate the boy or the boys, and to raise awareness about the plight and challenges that they face, because these challenges turn around to affect each and every one of us and even the country at large.
According to UNESCO, over 140 million boys worldwide are out of school, showing the need for greater investment in boys. Speakers at the event, including a teacher and lecturer, described the conversation as long overdue, stressing that many boys simply need attention, mentorship, and opportunities to thrive.
Boy child, they need attention. Most of the time we tend to look towards the girl child, but honestly the boy child, they are also crying for attention. Most of them, they need to be taught resilience, especially in a time like this with different vices happening around, the Boko Haram, the drug addictions and everything. We need to empower our boy child. We need to encourage them so that they live the right way.
Look at the boy child, even in reaching out to school children, they are the majority on the streets. And Ergote Foundation is doing a great job by reaching out to the boy child to make sure the boy child is well brought up, shall I say, braced up to face the challenges in the near future.
It's very important that we bring this forward as academia, as researchers, as policy contributors, that the issue is being brought forward. The boy child also deserve respect, deserve attention, deserve discussion, deserve attention. And so this is why we're here today.
Beneficiaries also spoke on the skills they have learned and their plans to impact younger boys in their communities.
It has helped me to know how to plan, to know my values, what I want in my life. And another thing I learned is setting goals. which is I know how to set my long-term goals, my short-term goals, and my medium-term goals.
Goethe Foundation has impacted my life in a positive way. It gives me a sense of inspiration of being a better man. And I've learned many things actually. And one of the topics I learned in Goethe Foundation is time management. And it has helped me in keeping track of time and getting more better in my academics.
Organizers say beyond the work, everyone must become an advocate for the boy child to help build stronger families and safer communities.
Many young boys are growing up surrounded by vices such as cultism, banditry, substance abuse, and more. Many are angry, confused, and are without proper guidance. A lot of boys are not bad children, they are just simply neglected. So I call on parents, teachers, schools, government organizations, and all caring Nigerians to put our hands together to empower the boy child. Happy International Day for the Boy Child.
So much and welcome back from that break. This is Political Arena on S24 television. I am your host, Abubakar Traki. Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Christopher Musa, recently said the country will deploy artificial intelligence and modern technology to tackle insurgency and insecurity, while many people believe technology can help security agencies track criminals and improve intelligence gathering across the country, while others argue that insecurity in Nigeria also need a better governance, community support, stronger intelligence sharing, and economic opportunities for young people. In this interview, I am joined by my senior colleague, Mr. John Costa, to help us understand if AI alone is enough to defeat insurgency in Nigeria alone. Mr. John, welcome to Political Arena on S24 television.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure speaking to you once more.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. Recently, we have seen the Minister of Defense made it clear to Nigerians that they are going to deploy artificial intelligence in the fight against insecurity in Nigeria. As someone that have the security expert and knowledge, do you think that AI alone can help in fight against insecurity in Nigeria and across the globe?
I think it's a welcome development, but at the same time, artificial intelligence alone cannot solve that problem. Like any kind of introduction to new technology, whether it's a new firearm or a new piece of equipment or a new unit of soldiers, it's part of the whole. And I think it's a welcome development that Nigeria is looking to use artificial intelligence and additional things like drones to be able to help with the security situation. But at the same time, I think it's about making sure they're deployed in the right way and that the personnel that you operate in those things are trained in the right way as well.
Okay, so what other advantage do you think using artificial intelligence has in the fight against insecurity?
Well, I think if you look globally at how AI is used, I think the Ukraine-Russia war at the moment is the sort of the key indicator when it comes to AI. It's the ability to get it to do some of the heavy lifting of the task. So if you've got a personnel shortage, you're able to use AI to give you a sort of an exponential advantage. It has the advantage of being able to monitor larger areas maybe when it comes to surveillance. So for example, if you're using surveillance drones, obviously AI is able to complete multiple tasks in addition to your human operatives. That might mean that you're able to target more efficiently, make sure you're doing the sort of intelligence that separates someone who's a herdsman from someone who's a potential terrorist. So I think it's an exciting development because what it does is it allows you to dominate those ungoverned spaces that dominate really Nigeria's borders. 1,000 miles of border that you don't have a wall, you don't have a fence. It's almost impossible to have. So therefore, you have to use technology, and I think something like drones and AI will definitely help the Nigerian security forces to be able to achieve its task.
In one of your trips, you recently went to Katsina and you went to places like Bazari. In your own opinion, what role do you think communities can play in the fight against insecurity, especially in those affected areas?
Well, again, with all of these situations is when someone comes up with a wonderful solution to a modern conflict, they very rarely study history. And if you're a student of history and possibly geography as well, what you start to realise is you go back and you find similar examples about how communities have or haven't been included in sort of the mechanics of a defence structure. And I think when we went to Katsina, obviously we got to meet some of the members of the Community Watch Corps. We saw them in operation, got to talk to them and interview them. And I think talking to the state governor as well, it became very clear that he realised that they were making no progress. So schemes around paying bandits to lay down their arms and reintegrate, creating the Community Watch Corps, employing local people, because they're the ones with knowledge. You imagine being a Nigerian soldier coming from the southeast or the southwest, maybe you know a little bit about the north that you've grown up hearing, but suddenly you're on territory that's not of any recognition to you, whereas someone who's employed in a local militia knows where the tracks are, knows the ways through the forest, knows where people might be hiding. So there's the safety of the operatives involved. If you know where the way is that I'm going to ambush you, the chances are that we won't ambush each other. Whereas if you're a soldier, then you have no idea. So we're saving lives by using local people, but also they tend to know what the local solutions are. What people are driven to join the bandits or become criminals. And of course, in many cases, and the state governor admitted this himself, that some families, family members are those same criminals and bandits as well. So you've got a very complex situation that cannot be dealt with technology or military forces alone.
Okay, from your UK experience, do you think what model should Nigerians at least learn from UK in order to deal with the issue of insecurity, especially in the northern Nigeria?
Again, I'd be very cautious about saying to anybody that we should learn or adopt any models that anybody else has got. I think it's more about looking at that particular situation and understanding why it's different. Okay, why it's different. So if you were to look at IPOP, sort of a continuation of that Biafran War secessionist movement, that's kind of an ideology really that wants to unite or separate as a nation. Well, you might be able to learn from our troubles in Northern Ireland in the United Kingdom. There's probably a direct link there you could do, but that's very different from the army in the northeast fighting Boko Haram, where there's probably more to be learnt from maybe Iraq or Afghanistan. But again, lessons learned through history, you suddenly realise that in the 50s and the 60s, the British in Malaya, for example, tried a scheme where villagers were put together in compounds, they raised a local militia, and that left the ungoverned spaces for the British forces to take on the communist insurgents. That model was much more effective at dealing with it, and when the Americans went into Vietnam, we offered that service to them, training them how to do it, and they said no. And of course, we now have that famous flying in helicopters and flying out again and not dominating any ground at all. So I think that would be my thing that I would talk to any sort of senior military commander here is go back and find some lessons in history that you can at least use as your base model in order to be able to go forward. Because a one-gloved fist military army approach, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if you've got four separate, you've got herdsmen, you've got people down here, banditry, you might have kidnapping, you might have ideological insurgency here, you might have secessionists here. You just can't send a soldier to do that job because you are putting him in a situation to fail, and that's very unfair on him, I think, or her. Yeah.
Mr. John, before we call it a day, patriotism is very, very important. What are your calls to Nigerians in order to be patriotic and ensure that this country continues to live in peace?
That's an interesting question, because we were here in November and we were at the NICTA conference, the technology conference, and I think it was a day or so after President Trump from America had threatened to attack Nigeria, and someone stood up on the floor and they were talking about technology and does anybody have any ideas, and this chap was talking about Nigerians need to do this, Nigerians to do this, and the MC said, can I just stop you, my brother? He said, we're all Nigerians, we should be proud of being Nigerians. And it made me really think that rather than just football, it took Nigeria to be threatened as a country, for Nigerians to forget all of their differences and divisions and all the things that play out in politics and religion and come together and dominate. And I think in an interview that I did this morning with someone as well, we was talking about, do you think that your average Nigerian on the street understands what their military is engaged with in all of these different types of insecurities in the country. And, you know, do they see it as a profession that should be respected? So I think there's a societal issue that cannot be solved by AI or a general or a soldier or a weapon on its own. It's maybe some bigger debates, which is, you know, at the end of the day, conflict creates cash. And it can create cash for both sides, and so therefore there has to be a willingness to get peace, because in peace no one's buying guns, bombs and drones. So.
Okay, before I say goodbye to you, tell me one thing you love about Nigeria, one thing in a nutshell.
In all of my visits to Nigeria, I find everybody is incredibly welcoming and very warm. And very friendly. I've never had any issues since I've been here. And I think that there's a genuine innovation and exciting approach to life that I come across, particularly with young people that I meet when I'm here, that these young people have, with support from the older generation, the ability to come up with all the solutions that Nigeria needs to its challenges. So.
Thank you so much, Mr. John. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. And that is all what we have on Political Arena here on S24 Television. Thank you, and stay tuned for our S24 Day commentary.
In the heart of Abidjan's growing digital economy, a new generation of women is reshaping Côte d'Ivoire's technology sector, building networks, creating opportunities, and pushing for greater representation in an industry once dominated by men.
I felt that I needed to be on ground in order to have a greater impact. So as soon as I had an opportunity to come to Côte d'Ivoire, I took it. In my mind, I told myself, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. We start again.
Je teste, si ça marche, ça marche. Si ça ne marche pas, ça ne marche pas et on recommence.
How few women occupy the visible leadership position in technology and innovation.
En Côte d'Ivoire en 2021.
I arrived in Côte d'Ivoire in 2021, and at that time, there were not many representation of women in the ecosystem. The visible decision makers were mostly men, so little by little, we brought together women who felt isolated or lacked access to peers in their field. We connected, inspired each other, organized events, and became a community.
Plein d'événements, et on est devenu une communauté.
Driven by that mindset, Muyamba launched Abidjanese in Tech, a growing community bringing together women working in technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation. What began as a simple networking effort has evolved into a platform for mentorship, collaboration, and professional support. Across Africa, technology is becoming essential for businesses hoping to remain competitive, and many women entrepreneurs say access to digital skills is no longer optional.
The integration of technology into African businesses today is inevitable, and the sooner we realize it, the better. Initiatives like those led by Andre through Abidjanese in Tech are an invaluable growth lever for women and entrepreneurship in Côte d'Ivoire.
The conversation around women and technology is also expanding into emerging fields like artificial intelligence and digital automation. At Abidjan's International Exhibition of Artificial Intelligence, Defense and Space, known as SIADE, innovators explored how new technologies can help scale women-led initiatives across the continent.
Women have always tried things that worked, and with technology, we can strengthen what they already have. If we want to amplify their initiatives, we need digital tools and artificial intelligence, but it must be coordinated, and women must remain at the center.
Today, Abidjanese Intech is no longer just a small gathering of professionals. It has become a structured community focused on visibility, mentorship, and creating space for women within Côte d'Ivoire's expanding digital economy. As Abidjan grows into one of West Africa's leading innovation hubs, these women are ensuring that the future of technology in Côte d'Ivoire is not only digital, but inclusive.
Hello and welcome to Tech World Updates, where we discuss technology, innovation and digital world. I am Aisha Muhammad. Here's what's shaping ICT from Nigeria to the global stage. We begin with digital transformation in Nigeria's education sector. The federal government has officially rolled out the National Education Database Initiative, also known as NEDI, as a new artificial intelligence-powered platform designed to track student enrollment, academic records, and performance analytics nationwide. Authorities say the system is expected to improve data-driven decision-making in the education sector while helping policymakers better monitor learning outcomes across the country. Analysts describe the move as another major step towards integrating artificial intelligence into Nigeria's public infrastructure. Now from education technology to smart infrastructure, Nigeria's payment technology giant InterSwitch has entered a partnership with Asaba Airports to deploy a fully automated smart parking solution. The initiative is expected to improve traffic management, automated payment systems, and enhance passenger convenience within the airport environment. Industry observers say the project reflects the growing adoption of smart city technologies across the Nigerian transportation sector. Still in Nigeria's expanding digital economy, the Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, alongside tech giant Meta, has announced a new framework aimed at integrating rural youth into digital economy. The program is expected to focus on digital literacy, online skill training, and technology access in underserved communities. Experts say the initiative could help bridge Nigeria's digital divide while creating new economic opportunities for young people. Across Africa, investment in technology infrastructure continues to gain momentum. The African Finance Corporation has announced a $100 million commitment to support African-focused technology fund managers. The investment is expected to strengthen localized digital industrialization while accelerating innovation across fintech, cloud infrastructure, and emerging technologies on the continent. Economic analysts say Africa is increasingly positioning itself as a rising force in the global digital economy. And Africa's fintech sector is witnessing another major shift. Nigerian-born fintech giant Opay is reportedly preparing for a $4 billion United States stock listing after hiring major global financial institutions, including JP Morgan, Citigroup, and Deutsche Bank. At the same time, South Africa's Time Bank has accelerated plans for its own public offering targeting a valuation of up to $15 billion. Market analysts say the development signal growing global investor confidence in African financial technology companies. Meanwhile, regional discussions on digital identity and data security are also intensifying. At the ID4 Africa conference in Abidjan, Nigeria's Galaxy Backbone Limited entered high-level engagement focused on cross-border cloud security and data integration frameworks. The decisions are expected to strengthen digital cooperation among African countries while improving data governance and secure cloud infrastructure systems. Now to the global stage, where artificial intelligence continues to dominate international policy conversations. In Beijing, top American technology executives joined high-level trade discussion between the United States and China, where debates focus heavily on AI chip restrictions, security guardrails, and the future of artificial intelligence regulation. The talks come amid growing global competition over dominance in advanced AI technologies. And in the Middle East, Digital Dubai has released a new AI integration metrics framework designed to standardize how artificial intelligence systems are deployed across government institutions. Officials say the framework aims to reduce duplication, improve efficiency, and regulate the use of both internal and external AI systems across public sectors. Technology experts say the initiative could become a model for governments worldwide. And finally, major technology and telecommunications companies are convening today at the JP Morgan Global Technology, Media and Communications Conference. Industry leaders, including telecom giant AT&T, are expected to provide updates on autonomous cloud systems, AI infrastructure, and projected multi-billion-dollar growth forecasts. Analysts say the conference is being closely watched for signals about the future direction of global technology investments. And that's it on Tech World Update, where innovation meets impact and the future stays in focus. Stay with us, as after the break, Khadija Mohammed is on standby with entertainment news. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back from the break. Today's entertainment updates, where we serve the tea so hot and your phone might overheat. From Port Harcourt flexes that will make your bank account cry, to African star breaking the internet harder than your ex broke your heart, and to global headlines that will have you screenshotting like your life depends on it. Well, we've got it all today. So sit back, grab your popcorn, and try not to choke when you see what these celebrities are up to today. Starting with the Nigerian comedians Sabinus and Carter affair trended online after a lively live stream around Port Harcourt. During the stream, Sabinus showed off his newly built resort, hotel, lounge, saloon, and expensive car collection, reportedly worth over 1 billion naira. And fans praised the comedian for building a strong business empire beyond comedy. The live stream also sparked reaction after airport officials reportedly tried stopping the recording before Carter Ife boarded a private jet. Well, and speaking of people who actually have money to throw around, unlike those of us that still calculate how to split 1,500 suya between 3 friends, and Burna Boy said, "Hold my Grammy," and decided to build stuff for his community. Let's see what African giant is up to. The Grammy-winning singer Burna Boy is receiving praise online after discussion about his contribution to community development in Port Harcourt resurfaced during the Sabinus live stream. And fans applauded the singer for supporting projects and giving back to his hometown while continuing his global music success. But wait, while Burna Boy is out, being a whole philanthropist and making us feel bad for not donating our last 200, and Tyler is somewhere making the entire planet shake. The South African star Tyler continues dominating international music conversation as her hit songs keeps climbing streaming charts across Africa and beyond. Many fans say her success is opening bigger global opportunities for young African artists and helping Afrobeat and Amapiano gain more international recognition. And just when you thought African had the wildest headline locked in, Spain said, "Hold my sangria," and decided to keep a festival where grown men literally jumps over babies. In Spain, one of the world's strangest cultural festivals has been practiced for more than 400 years. The tradition, called El Cholaco, takes place in the village of Castrillo de Murcia during a Catholic celebration known as Corpus Christi. The festival involves men dressed as devils jumping over babies who are laid on mattresses in the street. According to local belief, the ritual is meant to cleanse the children of evil spirits, protect them from bad luck, and bless them with good health as they grow. Historians say the tradition mixes Catholic beliefs with older Spanish folk customs that existed before modern times. And while many people outside Spain find the ritual shocking and dangerous, the community sees it as an important part of its heritage. Sports update with Steven after the break.
Welcome back from that break. Title drama, emotional comebacks, and major changes in football are making headlines around the world. From Arsenal moving closer to Premier League glory to Neymar's stunning return for Brazil, here's your latest sports updates. We begin in England, where Arsenal are now on the verge of ending their 22-year wait for a Premier League title after a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Burnley at the Emirates Stadium. Kai Havertz scored the winning goal with a powerful first-half header from a Bukayo Saka's corner, giving the Gunners a 5-point lead at the top of the table. However, the match was not without controversy. Havertz was lucky to stay on the pitch after a dangerous second-half challenge on Leslie Ugochukwu, with VAR deciding not to upgrade his yellow card to a red. Despite the tension, Arsenal held firm once again and recorded a fourth straight league clean sheet, moving one step closer to the title. Meanwhile, speculation is growing around the future of Pep Guardiola at the Manchester City. Reports in England claim the legendary manager could leave the club this weekend after nearly a decade in charge. Guardiola has won 6 Premier League titles and delivered City's first UEFA Champions League trophy since arriving in 2016. Former Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca is reportedly being considered as a possible replacement for Guardiola. Over in South America, Neymar has made a dramatic return to the Brazil national football team squad ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The 34-year-old, who has not played for Brazil since suffering a serious knee injury in 2023, was included in coach Carlo Ancelotti's 26-man squad. Neymar's Brazil all-time scorer with 79 goals is expected to play a key role as the 5-time world champions chase another World Cup title in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Still ahead of the World Cup, Vittna has praised Cristiano Ronaldo for continuing to inspire the Portugal national football team. The midfielder described Ronaldo as one of the greatest players in football history and said the squad hopes to win the World Cup with him and for him. Vittna also praised Ronaldo's professionalism and leadership as Portugal prepare for the tournament. And finally, back home in Nigeria, Abdul Makiba has officially appointed as the new head coach of the Nigerian national under-20 football team, also known as the Flying Eagles. The experienced coach says he is ready for the challenge of leading the 7-time African champions as preparation begins for the future international competition. And that's it, all your sports updates, where title dreams are alive, legend continue to inspire, and football continues to delivering unforgettable story across the globe. Coming up next is PG News.
Good afternoon, my country people. Today, now another day to talk about our dearest country and even Igbo country join. First matter where they ground today na Peter Obi and Kwankwaso wey don't go collect their NDC party membership card. They do this big meeting for Abuja inside the house of former Bayelsa Governor Seriake Dixon. These two politicians don't carry all their supporters and all their political power go join Nigeria Democratic Congress, NDC. They join body so that they go form one strong group to fight the ruling party for the 2027 presidential election where they call. Kwankwaso tell Nigerians say make they quickly ready while Peter Obi they talk say the way he take rule Anambra State too and the way Kwankwaso take rule Kano now the correct blueprint where they go use fix Nigeria economy if they elect them be that. The Federal High Court for Abuja don't fix on Tuesday, May 26 to give final judgment on whether former President Goodluck Jonathan will contest for the 2027 election again or not. One Abuja lawyer wey carry Jonathan go court dey argue say Jonathan don't rule twice before when Umar Yar'Adua died and when he win election from 2011 to 2015. So constitution no allow him run again. Jonathan lawyer and the main lawyer of the government, Attorney General, come tell the court make they throw away this matter. The judge, Justice Peter Lifu, don't sue the lawyer wey carry Jonathan go court, say make he pay 1 million naira fine because he dey waste time to submit court papers. This judgment on May 26 go clear ground if Jonathan fit join the 2027 race again or not. People they vex and they cry as bandits kidnapped 7 teachers last Friday for Orire local government, and now they don't kill one of them bad. Because of this, teachers for Ogbomosho don't close all schools today and they enter streets to go protest. They beg government may they protect teachers for villages. Soldiers and the Amotekun security group they try build rescue operation inside forest to save the remaining teachers and some school children where they carry. The work go hard small because the bandits don't plant bomb IEDs inside ground for the forest. But police don't catch 6 people for the village where they suspect say na them they give these bandits information. Police operative IRT don't scatter one bad gang where they do human trafficking and yahoo extortion around Abuja boundary. They rescue 30 young people who come from Mali and the leader of the gang now one man where they call Abdul Ngaki. And they hide the victims inside house for Mararaba and Karu for Nasarawa State, way near Abuja. The police image maker DCP Anthony Okon Placid explains that the gang they lie give these West African youths say they get work where they won't give them for Nigeria and they go help them travel go Europe. If the victim no fit pay the heavy money where they ask for, they go come force them make they call their family for hope. Lie say they kidnap them so that their family go send money. Police don't catch 13 suspects now. And inside health matter, big medical doctors and the Academy of Medical Sciences for Nigeria, they call on the government may they urgently start checking everybody when they enter Nigeria. This one na because Africa CDC and the World Health Organization WHO people where they carry health matter for head don't blow alarm say Ebola sickness don't start again. And it spread fast inside Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. Because Nigerians they travel where for Africa, the expert they tell the Ministry of Health and NCDC where they start to check people temperature and ask them where they travel from and where did they go for all international airports and land borders. This one has to make sure say Ebola don't enter Nigeria at all. And for international matter, bad market don't happen for San Diego City, for California, inside America, as 2 teenage boys carry gun, enter one mosque, go shoot people for prayer. They kill 3 Muslims inside the mosque before police rush come there, shoot the 2 gunmen dead. Total people will come die, come be 5. The police and the FBI, they look the matter as hate crime. Hate crime now when people attack people because of their religion or tribe. Now, all Islamic and human rights groups for America, they shout, say government must put heavy security around religious places. May this kind of bad thing for no happen again. You see, say for Nigeria and even for outside country, now only God will continue to help all of us. I go rest my case for here again today. Now, maybe we'll not to read Madam Sidika Yusuf.